Live from the 619, welcome to another episode of Militia E&T TV. I'm your host, CEO Papi-Yo, San Diego's own homegrown street corner MC slash DJ. On today's episode, I'm breaking down the top 5 most underrated MCs of all time. This is the epitome of why I started this series, to give the artists who have been putting in work for years the credit they honestly deserve, that I feel universally aren't getting it, only in the underground or from true hip-hop heads. Like I do with every other episode, I start with the honorable mention list, guys that nearly made this list, and I think you should definitely check out if you don't already. We're going to start off with Nipsey Hussle. Bullets Have No Name Volume 3 is my recommendation on that. Rest in peace to him. Sean Price, rest in peace to him as well. One half of the legendary group, Helter Skelter. His first solo project is my recommendation. That's Monkey Bars. Love that album. Definitely check it out if you have not heard it. AZ would have made this list. AZ is one of those artists where universally he is recognized as one of the most underrated. That's why he is not on my list, because he is getting the props he finally deserves. So the recommendation is the Do or Die album or AWOL. Check those out on all streaming platforms if you get the chance. So let's get into it. Number 5, Inspector Deck from the legendary Wu-Tang Clan. For his work, his legendary verses on all Wu-Tang albums. He always brings his A game when Wu-Tang Clan drops an album. And I cannot say the same for every single member of the group. The reason why he's on this list and doesn't get the credit he deserves is because his lack of success as a solo artist. Compared to other group members such as Ghostface Killer, Raekwon, Method Man, etc., etc. He has legendary features on Big Pun's Capital Punishment. Gangstar's Moment of Truth album, Above the Clouds, legendary song, phenomenal on there. Pete Rock's Soul Survivor album, he has a classic verse on that as well. The reason why he's not higher on this list is the lack of success as a soloist, but my recommendation is his new album that was released less than 3 weeks ago, Chamber Number 9. So if you are a Wu-Tang Clan fan, definitely check that out on all streaming platforms. Number 4, I'm going with Ransom from New Jersey. Now, Ransom came into the game as one half of a group called the A-Team on the DJ Clue tapes. They dropped phenomenal music that I still listen to this day. He went solo and has only gotten better with time. The album I recommend is The Proposal, exclusively produced by Static Selector. Released, I'd say, about 4 years ago after his time in prison. Since his release, he's dropped a lot of good music. Check him out on YouTube, all streaming platforms. Check out Ransom from New Jersey. Number 3, Black Thought from the legendary Roots Crew. The reason why he isn't higher on my list is because he is finally getting the credit he deserves. After putting in over 20 years of good music, delivering that type of music for over 20 years, he was universally recognized as one of the most underrated rappers amongst his peers. But at this moment in time, he is getting that credit. You can turn on an episode. You can watch any episode of the Jimmy Fallon Show and see Black Dog doing amazing things off the top of the dome. My recommendation, Illadelph Half-Life. And also, anytime you see Black Thought featured on any of your favorite artists' albums, I guarantee you he brought his A game. True legend in the game. Shout out to Black Thought. Number 2 on this list, Planet Asia, out of Fresno, California. This artist I've been following since the year 2000 as one half of the group Cali Agents. How the West Was Won, that was that album. I got my hands on that back in the day. And since then, I've been following Planet Asia, and his music has honestly only gotten better and better. He's one of these artists that's been independent for most of his career, so you can honestly just type in his name, Planet Asia, on YouTube and hear phenomenal music from that artist. He also dropped music as a collective with another artist, I believe, by the name of Tri-State, as the Do-Rag Dynasty. Definitely check those songs out on YouTube, Do-Rag Dynasty. If I have one recommendation, it's his brand new album, Initials in My Jewelry, released in May of 2019. I was listening to it last night. Shit is crazy hot. Yo, keep doing your thing, bro. That's peace. Number one on my list is the most underrated rapper of all time. I'm going with Cormega out of Queensbridge. Now, anybody who knows anything about Queensbridge and rap music knows this borough, this part of New York, has produced some of the greatest rappers of all time and groups. This is why he is underrated, because there's so many phenomenal artists that came from his backyard, let's say. You know what I mean? Now, like many people, I first heard of Cormega on Nas' second album. It Was Written on Affirmative Action, probably my favorite verse on the track. After that, he signed a deal, was dropped, started releasing all his music independently on his album, on his label Legal Hustle. His first album as a soloist released is called The Realness, and that's my recommendation. You can find those tracks currently on YouTube, because a lot of his music was recently taken off all streaming platforms. He put out an album that wasn't released called The Testament, which is also phenomenal. I love listening to it, but unfortunately that album has been removed off of most streaming platforms. I actually reached out to him on Instagram and asked him why a lot of his music was removed, and he said, he told me directly that he was making some big moves. So in my opinion, he probably is taking some of his music off of streaming platforms, so you can actually purchase them on iTunes and Amazon, etc., etc. The Realness is the recommendation, but honestly, I would just check out anything by Cormega, any album that you can get, that's available, because his music is definitely lyrical. His beat selection is always on point, and he's the voice of the ghetto, man. Like, I really learned a lot about the streets from his music, but also it's very heartfelt. The way he puts together the words, the way he tells his stories, it's not only authentic, but it's also, just like I said, very heartfelt, and that's why I put him at the top of this list. So that's pretty much it. If you like this episode of Militia E&T TV, subscribe to my channel, the Young Papi-Yo YouTube channel, and be on the lookout for more episodes just like this. All right, y'all be safe out there, and that's peace.